Okay, perfect. Good morning again and welcome to all our visitors and guests. If you didn't know, you are at the Brian's Lee Breakfast Club, and this is where A players come to rediscover their confidence. This is our 158th club meeting and our 37th Zoom meeting. Our 2021-2022 theme for the year is extreme ownership, and that is taking accountability for our own success. What's cooking on our menu today? We have popped the agenda in the chat for all our visitors and guests. We are a breakfast club, and so it's necessary that we do have a menu. So please do have a look at the menu of what to expect from us today. As per our tradition, we do have our Toastmasters pledge, and I would like to call upon Dino today to please read through our Toastmasters pledge. As Toastmasters in the meeting, you can just unmute yourself and say aye as Dino reads through the various sentences. So Dino, over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Sorry, Matt, just give me a sec. I've got your face on the screen at the present moment. I don't have the pledge in front of me. Give me a sec. There it is. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend meetings regularly.
Aye.
Aye.
To prepare all my projects to the best of my abilities, basing them on Toastmasters education program. To prepare and fulfill meeting assignments.
Aye.
Aye.
To provide fellow members with helpful and constructive evaluations.
Aye.
To help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow.
Aye.
Aye.
To serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so.
Aye.
To treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy.
Aye.
To bring guests to club meetings so that they can see the benefit Toastmaster membership offers.
Aye.
To adhere to the guidelines and rules of all Toastmasters education and recognition programs. Thank you. To act within Toastmasters core values and integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dino. And just for the benefit of our members and a reminder to our benefit of our guests and the reminders to our members of why we do this, it is because we occasionally do need to be reminded of why we've signed up as Toastmasters and what our responsibilities are as Toastmasters. It was quite interesting to note that most Toastmasters only read the club pledge the moment they're inducted and never again. And so we'd like to constantly just remind you of what it is that you've promised as a Toastmaster in the Toastmasters franchise. I'd like to now welcome all our honored guests, and once more, we've got our area director, Angela Young, that is with us today. We've got Rick, please do correct me, distinguished Toastmaster. Rick Robbenheimer joining us today as well. We've got our Andrea, District Director. No, the region.
Division Director.
Got our District Director, Andrea.
Division Director.
We speak these things into existence. We've got our Division Director, Andrea Fenter, joining us. And then we've got our longtime member that we haven't seen in a while, Kaliso. So welcome to you again. And also not neglecting all our members, Dino, Adrian, Kaliswa, and Tandeka that are joining us today. Welcome to you all, and we're looking forward to engaging with you today. Our practice prompt for today, as Toastmasters, we constantly need to be reminded and, just how to refine our skills and reminded of the skills that we do learn in the Toastmasters space. And so one of the practice prompts that we have as part of our ongoing practice prompts is storytelling. So on the screen, I have noted and I've said it, it's the mark of an exceptional speaker is the ability to tell their story. I was thinking about it, and as I was preparing for the meeting, and I realized that a lot of people struggle to come up with their speeches, or they don't feel the confidence, they don't feel confident enough to speak up and say their speeches. And the number one reason for this that I picked up is that a lot of people think, or they've got a negative view around what it means to prepare a speech and what it means to give a speech. And so one thing that I have learned and that I'd like to share with you as part of our practice prompt is that telling a speech or crafting a speech is literally about you being able to tell your story, how you are interpreting the idea that you found, how you want to tell us about this idea. And just understanding that saying a speech is about telling your story makes writing speeches so much more. I'd like you again to think about a time when you were a child, when you had to craft a story, when you had to tell your parents how your day went, or tell them about something interesting that was happening in your life at that time. That is literally what public speaking is about. It's being able to craft that story and tell that story. So as we go through today's session, and as we participate in all of the activities, I'd like you to remember that every part of you giving your speech, of playing your role, is about you just telling us your story and sharing the experience of you in that moment. So I hope this in some way boosts your confidence, and I hope to see you all say at least something today. Moving on, I'd like to now introduce our Toastmaster of the day, and that is Andrea Fenter. Andrea, I'll hand over the meeting to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate the invitation to your club today and the welcome. Thank you very much. Today's theme is courage. And when I saw the title, Courage, the Cowardly Dog, I'm thinking, I never heard of Courage, the Cowardly Dog. So I'm going to start with a quote from Nelson Mandela. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers the fear. That's courage, ladies and gentlemen. The day I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was overwhelmed with fear. But I had to conquer that fear to fight my way back to health. So courage is those little baby steps that you take every single day. And courage is not done on your own. Sometimes you need someone to support you. It could be that silent spouse who, when you are sick, is there to hold your hand, bring you a cup of tea, wipe your nose, whatever it is, help you walk again, help you talk again, whatever it is. Courage is that kernel that you get from those around you. So today's meeting would not be complete without me calling upon my fellow support team to help us run this meeting. I know that we have got an R counter. Is it a grammarian R counter combined, Mr. President? Dino, yes. May I please call upon the grammarian R counter to explain their role and give us the word of the day?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My name is Tandega Muklange. Today, I will be the grammarian and R counter. As grammarian, I'm going to be looking at how effective each speaker, including table topics, how effective they're making use of the English language and how they're using the word of the day. The idea is not to negatively critique, but is to encourage fellow Toastmasters. As an R counter, I'm going to be looking at how each speaker is using fillers such as and unnecessarily in their speech. So as you speak, I'll be listening carefully at the number of times that you are using that word. At the end of the meeting, I'm going to add up all our hours as a group and give us feedback. Again, the idea is not to catch you out, but is to bring it to your attention, the amount of time that you are making use of crutches, word crutches, which could distract from your speech. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Thandeka. I appreciate that. Yes, feedback. Could I ask if you could, Mr. President, please put the word of the day in the chat box as a reminder for everyone? Thank you. Our next role player of the morning would be our timekeeper. Do we have a timekeeper in the house?
Sorry, Toastmaster, our timekeeper has pulled out this morning. He has some connectivity issues at the moment, so that space is open at the moment.
Would anyone like to volunteer? Koliswe, would you like to get your feet wet so promptly? Not yet. Or would you like to try?
I would like to try. Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Perfect. Thank you, Koliswe. I appreciate that. All right. And then do we have a general evaluator, Dino? Or are we?
We won't be having a general evaluator. So Adrian will just be the evaluator, evaluating my speech.
Okay.
Morning.
Perfect. No problem. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And then we also have our table topics master. Angela, would you like to explain your role, please?
Thank you, our Toastmaster, for today. Table topic is one of the most interesting topic for our Toastmaster. It's his ability to organize your thoughts quickly, as quickly as possible, and also practicing your impromptu speech. And I will be giving you some topics and hope you all going to participate our table topics for today.
Thank you very, very much, Madam Table Topics Master. Right. Before we actually carry on with our first speaker, I'd like to just give another quote. To try is to risk failure, but risk must be taken because the greatest hazard of life is to risk nothing. We need to be brave to step out into the world and to take our future by the horns and have courage and step forth. And so today, Dino has decided he is going to take his Toastmasters future by the horns and present his speech. Adrian, would you like to please give us the requirements of Dino's speech? Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes, Adrian, hi. Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, no, that's fine there. I must confess that I'm very disorganized. I'm here in Cape Town and for the birth of my grandson. So I do apologize that I'm not really as prepared as I should be. I know it's a level 3 speech, and I know that Dino is going to talk about, about going green and the costs that are involved in going green. So Dino, I do apologize for being unprepared. So I have a big black cross against my name there. But it's wonderful being in Cape Town. It's wonderful to have my 4th grandchild to look up to. My wife's with me. We're going to be down here for a couple of weeks now. Anyway, over to you, Dino. I'm looking forward to your speech. I do have all the notes on what I've got to do in terms of evaluating speech. So Dino, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Dino, what is the title of your speech, please? You are on mute.
Okay, sorry. The title of my speech is Green Power, Take Your Power With You.
Green Power. Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker of the morning, Dino Lupini, with his speech entitled Green Power, Take the Power With You. Green Power, Take the Power With You, Dino Lupini.
Do you know what the university students today and Eskom have in common? That load shedding has been in each other's lives for that entire time, 21 years. Since the early 2000s, availability of electricity has dropped from 90% all the way down to 60%, if we're lucky. Finally, the CEO of Eskom has actually acknowledged that there is a problem in our current system, and he has told us that this is going to be in our future for a while. Apologies, everybody, my screen sharing is packing up on me. Can everybody see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Apologies. Pushing the wrong button every time. Okay, so my presentation will be talking about what power is and the proposal that I have to present to you guys. So now, what is power? Now, power is electricity that is produced mechanically or electrically or by other means to power a device. Now, the unit of measure for this is watts. And you probably hear kilowatts or megawatts, but this is generally a larger amount of watts that is being used by the public. And a formula used that I'll be using today is, okay, I've written a force times velocity, or otherwise known as, I'm going to be using a running analogy, which is how far do you want to go and how hard do you want to push it. So now what you see on your screen at the moment is on the left-hand side is your a typical household usage that is throughout the entire day. And you can see around about 6 o'clock, energy usage starts increasing, whilst at 1900 hours, you have a peak load. Now, what does this actually mean? Is that most of our electricity is used at night. So I just want to show you that the bill that you are getting from Eskom basically is the highlighted area. So the area underneath the graph. And what is this? This is your total energy being consumed. So your kilowatt hours, or what you see on your bill is units. But another item that we must focus on is what is your peak load. So how many electronics or pieces of equipment are you using in one go? And that will be giving your peak load. So now, just to give a better example, on the right-hand side is the different energy consumptions through the different seasons. And you can see that during spring, we normally use less electricity during this time. Whilst you can see in summer, we have the line is very consistently running up until 1900 hours. And what is that? It's pretty much our air conditioning system that is on the entire day, whilst our peak load is actually happening in winter, and that is because of we're heating up the entire household, which is very energy intensive. So what do I propose? This is a proposal that I have, and it is a completely isolated system that is completely off the grid, and it consists of solar panels on the top left, which uses the sun rays to power the electronics within the house. And we're going to be using a battery system to be running our electronics at night. So just a quick caveat of the system is that we will not be receiving any bills in the future. Just have a little think about that. No bills. Now, just quickly, how would you size a system like this? You only have to ask 3 questions. And the first one is, what electronics would you want to be running on the system? And what items would you be running at the same time? And lastly is how long do we want to be running the system for? Very straightforward. But now if I've lost you, and that's something a lot easier to calculate, is what is your current electricity bill? So now, if you do pay the bills, you would know that number. For my father, it is at, it's around about 5,000 Rand. So I have recommended that he goes for a system that has a 10 kilowatt solar system. And the battery system that you should be looking at is around about 10 kilowatts per hour. And then the amount that he's going to be paying, if he pays it up front and all in one shot, is 134,000 Rand, which seems a little bit excessive. But just remember about that caveat that I spoke about. No bills. No bills. So how quickly would we be able to pay off the system? Around about 4 to 7 years. So now, we know that going forward, we are going to have electricity problems. So now we have the chance to learn from our mistakes and take the future within our hands. So try out this green economical solution. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Dino, for that interesting synopsis. And I 100% am on board with you. When I lived in town, my electricity bill was anything between 2.5 and 5 grand a month. I'm now living out on the farm where we do 90% solar or gas. My electricity bill is 230 Rand a month max. And that's in wintertime. So it's a huge saving. It really does work out for you to go and make a plan B and find alternative solutions. But you do need to be brave to put out the initial outlay and go from. I'm looking at the program and I just want to see, are we going straight into the evaluations or are we going to go straight into table topics? Matthew?
I do apologize for that. There was supposed to be a break after the speaking and then table topics.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Koliswe, can I please get the timekeeper's report for Dino's speech? You're on mute. You're still on mute? There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Dino's time was 5 minutes, 11 seconds. I did not calculate the time that he had glitches in the beginning of his speech. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm sure all of us have heard that expression. Fear has 2 meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. How often were you, as a child, called into a classroom and told that you need to see the headmaster and you go, I want to run. And when you actually take that courage, really, Dino? I'm sure some of us had those naughty moments. I see Matthew having a big smile there. Tandeka's having a big smile. I know.
Sorry, I got the principal award, so.
Okay. So there you go. There are acronyms out there to help us counteract fear. But the balance of fear is what? Courage. We need courage to rise above our fear. And therefore, we are going to go into our table topic session straight away because we've only had one speaker and I think we're still fresh enough to proceed. Mr. President, is that all right? Right. Over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Our Toastmaster for today. Please allow me to say congratulations to our VPE, Adrian. Can we please all unmute yourself and just give him a hand and just say congratulations to him for his grandchild. This is a power of life. And please also be brave and take on our table topic for today. And as just a few table topic for today for us. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we see your screen.
Great. Great. I'm going to start for the first topic. You need to listen to me very carefully because I need you to illustrate the topic. Maybe it could be opposite to the topic or could be illustrate as the topic. And who's going to be brave to take on the first topic? I'm going to share this stuff. Let me just share this again. Share.
Adrian raised his hand, Madam Topics Master.
Okay, Adrian.
Yes,
Here you are.
I'm listening.
You were born an ordinary. Don't become a copy. So I want you to illustrate, says, you were born an ordinary, but do become a copy.
Oh,
You were born an original. Don't become a copy.
But I want you to illustrate,
the opposite.
do become a copy.
This is an interesting one because I'm now thinking in terms of the birth of my grandson, which was only a few days ago. And this is why we're down in Cape Town here. And when you're born there, I must admit, you know nothing. You depend on everything. But the potential is always there, always there. And I just think in my own life in terms of trying to become an original. By original, I mean something that's very specific. And I sort of look back on my life now and I think at school I struggled at primary school, and then somehow I came into contact with teachers that's influenced me in the field of science and mathematics. And because of that, and because of funding from my father, I went to Imperial College, London University, where my greatest claim to fame was being the tutor to Brian May, the guitarist, who was doing his PhD a few years after me. So I like to think I'm original, starting off with a blank sheet and being interested in science and being interested in understanding what makes things tick. And I'm particularly excited by Dino's speech in terms of a topic that I'm grossly interested in, particularly with regard to power. What you need power? What's the biggest source of power? It's food. And what color is food that's very good for you? Green food. So I like to think I've become an original. I have special areas that I have interest in. And I think I'll end there. Angela, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. I also really enjoyed it, the topic from Dino, because last week I actually took 4 couples of my VIP. We have a collaboration with Jaguar, with one of their first I-Pace. We have a test drive with the I-Pace for their electronic cars. And I will tell you more about it a bit later. Great. We have our next topic. Our next topic is, sorry, just going to go to the next topic. Great. Who's going to take the next topic? Our president. Are you going to be brave?
Sure.
Okay, so the next topic is don't give up because you had a bad day. Forgive yourself and do better for tomorrow. Can you please illustrate that?
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. So don't give up because you had a bad day. Forgive yourself and do better tomorrow. It's quite an interesting idea to think about, because every time we hit a rough spot in life, I think of all the times I've hit a rough spot in life, it always feels like the world is falling down on me. Nothing ever seems to go right. I remember the one morning, my morning started as something as simple as waking up and knocking my toe on the bedpost, my toe. From there, I broke a dish, I got stuck in traffic, and I got frustrated at work. And it almost felt like, you know, in that saying, when it rains, it pours, I was pouring. My day was just pouring nothing but bad. So in those moments, I always feel like I'm ready to give up. Like, what is this life? Honestly, do I wake up every day to have such bad days? Like, is it so hectic that just a toe stump can mess up my whole day? And then I realized that, you know, I can do better tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day. Yes, they say tomorrow is not promised to me, but if I can wake up tomorrow, I can make sure that I don't knock my toe on the bed. And so in that moment, I learned to forgive myself. I learned to forgive myself knowing that I can do better. So if anything, if you ever break a dish, if someone yells at you, if you get stuck in traffic and you feel like, oh man, today it's raining, your day is just raining nothing but bad, I always want you to remember that. Don't give up just because you had a bad day. Forgive yourself, wake up tomorrow morning and have a better tomorrow. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Matt. I think forgiving is such a powerful tool that we need to do to ourselves. Thank you, Matt. I'm going to ask Thandeka. Thandeka, can you please illustrate, be the energy that you don't want to attract? Be the energy that you don't want to attract.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Let me be brave and talk about being the energy I don't want to attract. The energy, the negative energy that is always complaining, telling us about how things are wrong, telling us about how bad other people are, how things will never get better, how the government will always promise us and never do them. Sorry, I'm feeling feedback. So I don't want to be that, and I don't want to attract that energy. People who are negative really drain you down. And as in life, we need somebody that's going to pick us up, help us to carry ourselves and continue, have hope for the future. Thank you, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Thandeka. Well done, and be brave. Next, I'm going to ask you, Ricky, can I please ask you to illustrate, today will be a bad day. Today will be a bad day. How bad can that be?
A good day, yeah.
Good morning. Rick here, not Ricky.
Oh, Rick.
And I've been asked to talk on the topic of today will be a bad day. So I'd like to take us a week forward, almost a week forward, a week and a bit, to the 1st of November. The 1st of November is Election Day. Now, we've had the ANC in power since 1994. And something like 2/3 of our municipalities are non-functional or dysfunctional. And all of those municipalities are governed by the ANC, which has, through its policy of cadre deployment, people in charge of municipalities who are not qualified to be in charge. And as John Steenhuisen put it, competing for a position in the municipality is no longer a choice of being there to serve, but it's a question of who will be there to steal. And so we're seeing the natural result of what is still, according to President Cyril Ramaphosa, official ANC policy. If you'd like a bad day, on the 1st of November, the population will go to the polls and the majority will continue to vote for the ANC. It is said that the definition of madness is to do the same thing again and again and expect a different result. So here we are going to vote again, and I predict that the majority of the population will still vote for the ANC, although they have the complete demonstration of what the ANC has given them over this entire period. And nevertheless, we will vote for a bad day. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Rick. I should actually ask you to be our president. Thanks, Rick. Next up for grab, we're going to have this. I accept myself as I am. Who's gonna be brave? Should we have our speaker for today, just to wrap it up? No. Okay. Our
I think
timer.
Carissa will be a good participant with this topic. Hey, Carissa, our time. I've got you. Carissa?
Okay, I'm just closing this, sorry. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I accept myself as I am. From a very early age, I've never had issues with accepting myself. I've, if I may say, automatically loved and liked the person I am, physically and otherwise. Growing up, being dark-skinned was not something that was cherished as being light-skinned person. I would get names like name calling, like Nomnyamazana in Xhosa, which means blackie, if I may say. But I've never been, it's never something that affected me in a negative way, because I've never felt that I am different because I am Black. But I have noticed that those who are light-skinned were likely appreciated more than the ones who are dark-skinned. Same applies with the physique. If you are a skinny, fat, or a shape that the society will deem to be a good shape or a bad shape, I've never had those issues. I've learned to accept myself the way I am. I've learned to be with people who are going to accept me the way I am. In an instance where I feel someone is not accepting me or have issues with how I look, then I eliminate, no, that's a wrong word. I don't associate myself with those kind of people. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Griswold. Thank you, everybody. And back to you, table topic. Back to you, Toastmaster. Madam
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. Can we all give Madam Table Topics Master a round of applause for an interesting session this morning, making us think about what we say and think.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next step that we need to move forward onto is the evaluation session. But before we go there, I'd like to refer to a quote that I have, and now I've lost it. Okay. You can choose courage or you can choose comfort, but you cannot choose both. Brené Brown. I look at this quote and I think, where, oh, where were you when I decided to leave the comfort of a job, a secure paying job, to start my own business? And then I think to myself, you know what? I'm actually glad I had the courage to start my own business because it gave me the flexibility to adapt to the circumstances around me. And yes, sometimes I'm up and sometimes I'm down, but that's the circle of life. It's about being brave, having the courage to get up and face each day and challenge it. So your choice, be comfortable or have the courage to move forward. Your choice. And now I'm going to call upon our evaluator for the morning, Adrian, who will be evaluating, I'm looking, hold a second, Dino's speech. And before we go there, I'd like to just make a little comment. Not all gifts come in neat little packages. Feedback is a gift. It might be unwieldy, it might be surprising, but it is a gift because with the feedback you receive, you have the opportunity to grow. I encourage you to receive your feedback with grace. Over to you, Adrian.
There we go. Dino, congratulations. I really enjoyed your speech. It's a topic that's of particular interest to me in terms of some of my hobbies, which is one of them is hydroponics there, is growing vegetables there. Your speech was certainly very clear. I like the way, very well constructed in terms of how we can get electricity. I love the background that you have in terms of how much we're paying for electricity there. And then this whole issue, the financial side of things there in terms of, and Angie sort of also made the point as well in terms of, what she pays for electricity. I know I put in about 600 Rand a month in my particular case there. So the economics is important, which you stress. And one of the things I particularly like is, okay, there is capital costs involved with cutting the costs of electricity, but you were very explicit in terms of saying, was it 5 to 7 years to repay the costs there, the capital costs there. You were certainly very comfortable in giving your speech there. And I felt you were comfortable with the audience. I was finding myself paying attention to you, looking at you. So I got the feeling that you were aware there were people, even though it be in a virtual space. So overall, I really enjoyed it. In terms of possible areas of improvement, I would have liked perhaps sort of concluding with where you're going to go next. I'm sure you probably got lined up further topics in this particular area. That there are many other sources of electricity besides solar power, wind power, and I've heard a lot of news about neutrinos, going back to the days of Tesla, who thought you can get energy from space there. So I'm looking forward to your next speech, and I'm hoping that it's something that is a follow-up to the speech that you've just given there. So congratulations, and certainly looking forward to follow-ups. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adrian, for that feedback. Dino, would you like to respond, or are you happy with your feedback?
No one's ever given me that option before. I've mixed emotions about this right now. But you're talking about having it in a neat package, and I must maybe just consume the package first before responding.
Okay,
So, thanks.
no problem. Essentially, we're about to start wrapping up with our reports. But before we carry on, I'd like to call upon the president of the club to please explain to us about Courage, the Cowardly Dog, who was the title of today's theme. Please, will you introduce us to Courage, the Cowardly Dog, before I carry on, seeing as we have a few minutes in our agenda.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for today. By show of hands, am I the only one that knows who knows Courage the Cowardly Dog? Okay, we've got a winner, Tandeka, Dino. Okay, perfect. Rick, Angela, Adrian, Kalisa, nobody. Oh man, Courage the Cowardly Dog is the most amazing cartoon from the 1990s. And the storyline centers around a pink dog that loves his owner so much that he's willing to go to the ends of the world, no matter how scared he is. So if you haven't yet watched Courage the Cowardly Dog, I would certainly recommend maybe watching an episode or two. And what made Courage the Cowardly Dog so unique and the topic for today's meeting is because Courage is just an ordinary dog. His master's wife, master's husband hates him, but he loves his female master so much. And for some reason, every day they seem to find themselves in a state of danger or in a state of fear. And it's up to Courage to save the day. No matter how scared he is, no matter how traumatizing the experience is, Courage is always there to save the day. So that is Courage the Cowardly Dog. I hope I've done justice to it, Dino and Tandeka. If I haven't, please, please add on.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, now that's all clear to me now. Thank you.
So we'll have to go do a little bit of YouTubing to go find Courage the Cowardly Dog and see what's happening. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call upon our role players for the morning. Let's start with Kaliswe, who can give us our timekeepers report. Actually, wait, Kaliswe, sorry, you need to time the grammarians report. Let me ask Tandeka, please, to give the report for the grammarians report and the Aman-Ark report.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I thought to first go for the break so that I can consolidate, but I can do Dino. So the most fillers that we used as a group were so and 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 a. Dino, the biggest filler you used was a so, right? You used it 7 times. Air, you used it twice, and you had 1 and. In as far as grammar is concerned, you had an interesting analogy. I mean, the use of the word power. Given the context of bravery or the word bravery as the word of the day, for me, I just found it an interesting word because for you to be brave, you need to find some power within you and then exercise bravery. You also use the word caveat twice, which is I think it's Latin, yes, but it's more like a disclaimer. So instead of saying disclaimer, you use the word caveat. I found that interesting in but unfortunately you didn't use the word of the day. That is the report for Dino. With regards to Angela, you used the word brave twice, and you used as a filler 4 times. You used once. And with regards to grammar, I liked you selecting the word illustrate for us to show and demonstrate, picking the word illustrate. Then I'm gonna go to Adrian. Adrian, the most words you with regards to so, you only used it once, and end, you used and 3 times, and then you used twice, you used 4 times. With regards to grammar, I liked your using your greatest claim to fame, you know, that sentence, and also saying what makes things tick. Using those words was interesting. You've made proper use of the English language, but also I liked how you linked power to food, and then saying what is the color of food, green, in your analysis or in your evaluation of Dino's speech. So well done there. Then it's Andrea, the Toastmaster. Am I saying your name properly? Okay, Andrea. I liked, you used the word brave. I think you used it twice. And then your fillers, you had very little fillers. You had and so only. And you made the proper use of the English language. There's something I wrote here about, okay, I'll remember this one, I'll come back to you later. I'll come back to this one later. And then it's Rick, Mr. Rubenheimer. You also had minimum, very few arms. You actually had 1 arm. I think I was so taken by your speech. I hope I did not miss any arms, but according to my records, my notes here, you only had 1 arm and you made proper use of the English language. Then with Matt, you had also few fillers. You had 1 so and 1 arm. Then I liked how you used the English language when you were saying the world is falling down on you. Sorry, and I'm running out of time. Koliswa, you had 3 arms. And that's my report, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tandeka, for doing a fabulous job of listening so well and counting. Madam Timekeeper, would you like to give us your report, please?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. For our table topics, Adrian, you took 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Matthew, 1 minute, 45 seconds. Tandeka, 49 seconds. Rick, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. For the evaluation session, evaluator Adrian, 2 minutes, 26 seconds. For the reporters, Tandeka, you took 5 minutes, 11 seconds. Yeah, that will be all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tandeka, very much. I mean, Koliswe, for your timekeeping report and for stepping in at the last minute, getting your feet wet after being absent for a while. We welcome you back to the club. And before I close off my session of the morning and hand back to the president of the day, I'd like to close with a quote that I held dear through some very challenging times in my life. The words were, "Courage does not always roar. Sometimes it is that quiet voice at the end of the day that says, I will try again tomorrow." And so, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you, when days are tough and challenges seem overwhelming, hold your courage dear and know that tomorrow you can try again with a full force of energy. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Andrea, could we please give another round of applause? I think I do need to express this. I'm impressed beyond words with how you ran our meeting today, Andrea, given the time that you had set, that you were given, and coming up with the themes and everything that has me moved, and I'd like to appreciate you for that. So thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, for an amazing Toastmaster session today. I'd like to now, just before moving on a point, I'd like to just open up the meeting for general evaluation. If anybody would like to share just some feedback on how they have found the meeting, or anything that stood out for you, or anything that, as they say, made your armpit itch. Yes, Adrian.
Yeah, I must admit, when I was thinking before the meeting here, we're obviously struggling as a club to really get going and to attract members. But I think today, it was such a well-run meeting. I must admit, with Toastmaster of the day did an absolutely splendid job there. So I know we can do it. I know we can sort of break free and become the club that we really want to be. So I was encouraged today. And that's basically all I really want to say, that meetings can go smoothly and we can attract people. It's what's the saying? It's the water drop that hollows the stone. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Much appreciated. Anybody else like to say anything?
And just from my side, Matt. Sorry.
Yes, Dino.
It is a matter of, we must realize that, yes, today we're ending significantly early compared to other meetings. But the thing is that we don't have to fill the time. It is a matter of, these are the allocated time slots for the meeting, and we're going to be finishing within that agreed time lot. And if you don't have prepared speakers, don't fill it. Just get it over and done with. Move on. So I'm happy with it. Thanks for Toastmaster in the morning, that she ran it very regimentedly, and it's perfect. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Dino. Kalisa, Angela, Rick, are you guys okay? Okay, perfect then. Thandeka, I see you unmuted. You sorted. Would you like to say something?
Yes, I'd like to echo the sentiments. Also thank the the Toastmaster, Adrian, and also to say that I remembered the notes that I made there, the interesting use of the word 5 grand instead of 5,000. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thandeka. Okay, on the note of feedback, I'll just move into on a point. On the note of feedback, I have posted the club emissary form in the chat. Please, could you find some time to fill it out? Rick, I do appreciate, I saw that you sent it through. It was so reassuring seeing it come through. Haven't seen it in a while, and I kind of got a little excited there. So thank you very much for sending that through. The second thing on a point, I'd like to appreciate all the role players for coming together and making this meeting work. At the end of the day, every Toastmasters meeting is only possible because of all the roles that we take up and play. As much as I'm president, this meeting doesn't run because of me. It runs because of all the roles that you guys take up and the initiative that you guys take up, or the initiative you use or take up when you're choosing a role. Sorry, my English is missing there. So please continue taking up roles for our upcoming meetings so that we can continue to grow as a club. The second thing, third thing I just want to mention is just a reminder to our club members, the website functionality. If you're still struggling with using the website, please just have a look at our YouTube channel. I'm not sure if you've all seen the YouTube channel link. We did send a link in the group, and this is what it looks like. If you are struggling with any parts of the website, please just go to the different playlists, and there will be some instructional videos that will assist you to, become more familiar with some of the tools that we are using in the club. Amongst that, you will also see some of the key moments like our prepared speeches and visitor guest testimonials. These are also, if for some reason you have to miss a meeting, then you don't miss out on the full experience. So please do still support the members even in your absence in the meeting. And I think that is all for me on a point. I do appreciate all of you for coming today and spending the morning with us. And I'd like to just also end off with just this idea of, finding the courage to tell your story as well. There's this thing that from Dave, it was Mike Davis. He said, it took me years to learn how to play like myself. And, as public speakers, again, I know that it's hard coming up with speeches. I know that it's challenging wanting to stand up in the club and give speeches. It's one of the reasons why we don't have so many speeches. But I want to encourage you to continue practicing and, continue telling your story so that we can hear your story in here. Ultimately, we want to support you as a club, and that's why we have these meetings. I keep mentioning every week that we're not having the meetings just for the sake of, meeting on a Saturday morning. I love seeing your faces and I love engaging with you, but that's not the purpose of us being here. So I'd like to encourage you to please continue practicing your skills. Please continue signing up for roles. And that is all from me on a point. On that note, I will dismiss our meeting, and I will see you guys in our next meeting. Please note that it is a 5-week month. So our next meeting we're going to skip 2 weeks before our next meeting. All righty. Have an amazing afternoon, everyone. Exco, could you please remain behind?
Mm-hmm.